We're ready? Okay, very good. Welcome. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals for Town of Wareham. Tonight, agenda Wednesday, January 24th, 2018, and 6:35 p.m. at the Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Make a roll call. My far right, Town Engineer Charles Rowley, Building Commissioner David Pequina, Board Member Wilma Engerman, our Clerk Jim Akavachi, far left, alternate member Jake Morrison, a member Attorney Jen Kendrick, Carl Baptiste Senior, myself, the Chair Nazi Al-Khalasi. We're just gonna do some business before we get going. We have the meetings for January 10.
The minutes from January 10th, I have reviewed them. They were sent to me via email. They appear to be adequate as prepared. I therefore move that we accept them as presented.
I have a second.
Second it.
Second by Wilma. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Good. Petition 2-14, JCMA Realty, 167 Onset Ave, request for modification. Yeah, wanna come forward? Just name and address for the record.
My name is John Salerno from 192 Onset Avenue. I'm seeking a request for modification. The building is presently almost ready to go on 167. It's just a timing issue for me. I have to put my license in. I'm gonna be getting hopefully a walkthrough for getting all my sign-offs. The only thing I'm not gonna be able to meet right now is the parking lot. I have it already with a binder. I just don't have my finished coat on it, and I don't have it lined yet. And I feel like I think I've got something I need to have done before I get a sign-off. I could be wrong.
Where, did,
Is that?
when, how long ago you get that permit?
14.
Oh, we went around, so I'm not aware of this. Just let me, anybody aware of it?
I'm pulling up
This is the hotel on Onset Ave.
Okay. Oh, next to the bridge there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The five-story structure. I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna get the walkthroughs, but I need to put my applications in for liquor licenses and such. I have to have all my sign-offs and all the requirements, if I understand correctly, is that the parking lot needs to be finished and lined. That's the only thing I'm not gonna be able to meet right now. I wanted to do it in the fall. I was kinda waiting for the town, wasn't their fault, I was kinda waiting for them because they put their binder down this past fall. I put mine right before that, they put theirs, and they were supposed to come back and do it, and I was gonna come in right behind them and finish, but for their reasons, they weren't able to. So I consequently wasn't able, well, I could have, but I waited. But now I'd like to be able to submit my applications, at least get my inspection, get my sign off, so I then can submit my applications for a liquor license.
All right, if we do so, you don't have an occupancy permit, do you?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
We could do it, we condition it that you won't get the occupancy
Yes.
until you do the second code, or you have to post a bond. Would that be okay?
Yes, that'd be more than, that's all I really need, just, because I don't need that in order to submit my applications for liquor license. That'd be just what I need.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I have my proposal here for the contractor that's doing my work too, that's gonna put the binder on, saying that he'll be there.
You're not gonna ask for a bond, but you'll be okay with this?
Excuse me?
How much?
The final quote, 9,700. The initial was.
All right, David, would
That was
be
all.
okay?
I don't have an issue.
All right. All right, the board, anyone?
No, no issue.
I don't have an issue. My question is, do we want them to bond, or do we want to just condition the no occupancy?
No
until it's
occupancy
done?
until it's done.
No spending any money that way.
You could get an occupancy, but you gotta put a bond if you want.
No, that's fine. That's not what
By the time you get your permits and stuff, it'll be the spring, you could put the
that's
top coat.
exactly right.
Jake, you wanna say something?
No.
Jen, Carl?
No.
All right, all in favor to give a JCMA Realty for 167 Onset Ave waiver on the top coat till to spring, say the end of June, let's put a date.
Okay.
Till the end of June, and no occupancy permit to be issued till the top coat is done.
The dock goes down. Thank you.
Somebody make a motion?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Second by Wilma. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hearing.
You're welcome. Have a good one, John.
So that we just, the
2-14,
final sign-off, or the final,
occupancy. No occupancy. All right, petition 26-16, Solbright, 0 Square Island. Request for certification of completion and performance bond. Wanna come forward, please?
Hi, my name's Mike Harrington. I'm a consultant for Solbright.
Yep.
And I'm also gonna be completing the site work for them out there. And we're looking for a certificate of completion. We did produce a bond estimate, and I discussed it with Charlie. He would like, there's things in the bond that he didn't see in there. He would like me to redo the estimate to be more explicit, which I agreed to do. And he also asked, he wrote a letter about the trees, and I told him the landscaper guarantees, they're all planted, and he guarantees them for a year, and he wants me to submit the landscaper's letterhead stating that, which is fine.
Okay.
And we also have, we got the bond letter information from the town, and we have the bond here for the town to review.
Okay, well, I didn't review, I'm just gonna ask Charlie.
Yep.
Charlie, did you review it?
I did.
What do you think?
The letter which, I assume you have a copy of it there.
yeah, right there, Matt.
When I looked it over and compared the estimate of the work and the description of the work with what I saw in the approved plans, there was one piece of it with respect to stabilizing the slopes and grading and slope protection I really didn't see identified here, and I was a little concerned about the pricing of it, the way it was listed out. So I've asked Mr. Harrington to provide that item cost and to add it to the list that he has submitted, the 7 items that appear. So he's agreed to do that. My letter, which I wrote up today, included replacement of landscape materials, but in discussing it with him today, he says that they have a contract with a landscape contractor who provides 2 years guarantee on the stock. If that's the case, then if he provides the board with a copy of that so you can see that you have it, that satisfies me. But he still has the bond, which I don't consider myself to be kind of an expert on the document itself. And it's typically something that you pass by town council, so I think that probably.
The 34,000?
Yes.
34,000.
That was, yeah, that was the amount that, based on a $23,000 base amount, and plus 50%, but it doesn't include an increase in the items for the paved area and the gravel area below the access road that is not paved, that really needs some work. I was out there last week, and the grading just isn't completed.
How
And
many
I'm not
square
really
yards do you
seeing
think? How many square yards of grading and paving roughly?
Square yard?
Yeah, the pavement is just a hill,
It's probably,
2,800 feet is the paving.
yeah, I'm guessing maybe a couple hundred feet long on both sides, but it's a very steep grade. And I had talked about this with the engineers back when they were doing the plans, and they agreed to put a detail on the plan that required slope protection in the form of jute netting and so forth to stabilize the slope while it's loamed and seeded. That's on the plan, which now is in the file. So that portion of it's been done. But I'm not seeing that item listed here. So it needs to be listed so that we're sure that if you accept that amount of money, that it covers that item as well. So, I don't think it's a significant amount, but it will change the numbers.
All right,
Would the 50% increase over the bid cover the short,
I think that would cover
we're
it.
getting 1.5 times.
Yeah, but the point is, there's no item listed here that covers that.
No, I will put that on the list. I mean, I was probably a little too vague in the bond when I gave it to you. I can give you more of a breakdown of what exactly is what.
I think that would be appropriate to do. So it's
All
there.
right.
Because the money can only be used for the items that are shown in that document.
All right, can you change that?
Absolutely.
All right, and the bond has to be reviewed by town council
Right, I can submit that to you people.
to the office, they bring, the bond, yeah, bring it to the office, they bring it to the selectmen.
Okay. And I will redo this and get the other letter to Charlie tomorrow.
Okay, so,
The other numbers I have no problem with, but it's just, I'd like to see that additional amount in there just to cover it.
Dave, you want to?
I don't have anything.
No, Wilma,
No, okay.
Jim,
No comment.
Jake,
Nothing.
Jen,
No.
Carl, you want to say? So I guess we could, if you meet those requests, I don't have a problem, give you a certificate of completion.
Yep, I
So
will
we
get
could condition it
Yep,
based on that request.
yep, I will get those, things to Charlie tomorrow and I'll submit the bond to the,
So the bond amount's gonna be over 34.5, that you're gonna add the stuff.
well, I think if I give him a breakdown, he'll see that it's in the amount that I put there. I just didn't itemize it.
What he's saying is he can re-itemize this
Yeah.
list to come to
Yeah,
the
I know.
same bottom line.
How wide is that road? How wide is the road? Like 12? Ah, okay. All right, so let's do this and we go from there. Is that good, Charlie? That's fine?
I'm not prepared to say that just
Until you
listing
see it.
without an adjustment of the cost will be sufficient. We'll see.
But it has to be sufficient by Charlie. So if he says the numbers are not right, it's not gonna work, okay?
Would it, what would make you happy, Charlie?
No, well, you gotta discuss it after, not now. You gotta explain it to him, send it to him, let him review it. Would that be good?
Yep,
You guys comfortable, give him a, okay?
I'm fine with an okay.
All right,
We're gonna make it subject
to Charlie's approval of the bond,
okay.
adjusting the bond, okay?
I'll forward a letter of recommendation to the board after I see the letter,
All right,
see the adjustment.
so do I have a motion?
A motion to, what are we looking for?
Motion to grant, request a certificate of completion and performance bond, petition 26-16 for Salt Bright, based on the approval of town engineer Charles Rowley on the bond amount.
Yeah, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
You wanna say something?
No, I was just, so we're granting it just subject to the future
Yeah.
approval? Okay.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. 500, thank you.
thank you.
It won't be issued until he says okay, okay?
Absolutely,
Thank you.
thank you.
Continue public hearing, Richard McBride, 45-17, 55 West Central Ave. I remember that. Okay, just 1 second so we get the file.
Yep, we're getting rid of this. What did we got from that last one to get rid of off the desk? Anything?
Nothing, just get,
This,
yeah, for Charlie, yeah.
this off the desk. What are we doing now?
West Central.
4517?
55 West Central.
Okay.
It's not there, is it?
So this is a new one that has to be read in,
Central
correct?
isn't listed.
No, it's been open apparently.
Oh, it's continued, okay.
All right, the hearing's still open, so you just wanna fill us in and just your name and address for the record?
Richard McBride, 55 West Central Avenue, Onset.
Okay, ma'am?
Judith McBride, 55 West Central Ave, Onset.
Okay, so where did we leave this last time?
I had a proposed deck of 16 feet by 6 feet.
Okay,
Did not have the certified plot plan, which I now have had done.
Yeah.
I believe you folks should have copies of it. And it has on it where the proposed deck is going to be located.
Thanks. We have another one.
Okay.
I don't think we need the other.
Existing
Stack,
proposed deck, 6
That's
by
what they're doing?
16. Alright, so you, just let me refresh my memory in this, you wanted, yeah,
That's what I'm doing too. Getting my head back in it. Which lot number is this? 752.
okay, so you're looking for a way, relief from Article 6 for Table 622 for the coverage,
Correct.
and you're looking to see if this is such, if we look at it as a special permit or a variance. Want to see if the board think it's a detriment to the neighborhood or not, if it's substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. So, what's the setback, David, there, you know, in front?
It has to be 10 feet.
So he,
Meets the setbacks, just not the coverage, 35%.
just the coverage?
Correct.
All right,
I believe it's just the coverage. I don't have that letter in front of me, but I believe.
yeah,
I believe that's what it was also. It's 16 feet on the setback, so that should suffice that.
What was the coverage before
The
this?
coverage, the existing building coverage, and it's on that piece of paper on the lower left-hand side there.
from 36 to 39,
Gotcha, sorry, I didn't see that.
36.7.
It's actually 32.16
To 34.66.
34.66,
Okay.
according to the plan from the Braman
Ah,
Company.
okay, all right, so, all right, very good, so that's why we like
So,
plans.
I think step one is to find out if we think it's substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood, then are we doing a special permit?
Well,
or
there's
a
also the
variance?
question whether it's a substantial increase in the nonconformity.
That's what I'm, that's what I'm saying.
Both of those, yeah.
Okay, so what,
Okay.
and is there anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against? I see none. All right, do you want to add anything else?
No, actually, the hearing, I think it was on December 10th, I had explained what the purpose of the deck was gonna be.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
I see it.
garage, Make
I
it
remember
easier for
that.
us to get in and out of the house. And that's, you know, it's
Yeah,
not, it's
I
not gonna have a
remember
roof
that.
on it or anything, it's just gonna be an extension of that front porch.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything before we close? I hear none, want to close the public hearing?
Let's do it.
So I have a second to close the public hearing. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Jan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Okay, now, what's your wishes?
I'm reading this, it says, increase the non-conforming nature of the structure. And we're not changing the non-conforming nature of the structure.
By increasing the structure makes non-conforming, the
But
coverage.
that's the, coverage. Okay, all right.
Well, he's in, the structures, because it's over the coverage is non-conforming.
So I don't know, is it a variance or is it a special
Well,
permit?
that's what we want to say. I think it's a special permit. I don't think it's substantially detrimental to the neighborhood, increasing it by 2% in coverage. Most of these houses there have a lot more than that.
I agree.
Okay, do I have a motion for this?
I move that we call it a special permit, that it's not detrimental to the neighborhood and it's not an increase, a significant increase to the non-conforming nature.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Jen, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Okay, next one.
So we're looking at a special permit.
We just made the findings to grant a special
Right.
permit, though.
So now we need to give him just a relief on Article 6 with the, I guess we put a conditions that he'll build it according to this plan.
So moved.
Okay, any conditions?
Special permit, standard conditions.
Standard conditions and to be built according to plans drafted by, signed by Robert Brayman Jr., professional engineer, dated January 2nd, 2018.
What was that date again?
One,
January
two.
2,
2000.
2018.
Yep. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Thank you.
Opposed.
Opposed? Okay, 410. 410, it carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you very much.
Okay, let's get this abatement plan, standard conditions.
Petition 1-18, J. Donegan Company. Oh, no, sorry. 47-17, Ramos Realty Trust, 300 Glen Charlie Road. Any idea?
It's got a letter.
I think they requested a continuance.
Oh,
Which
okay.
one is that?
We'll read it into the record, second.
Ramos Realty, they sent a hand request to continue.
Okay. You wanna read it, one of you guys, so we...
The request, hello, I would like to request a continuance for Ramos Realty Trust located on 300 Glen Charlie Road, East Wareham, for the new available hearing date. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Arlene Mason, 508-295. And this is sent via email, and it came into the planning board's office.
Okay, do I have a
Signed
second?
Arlene Mason.
So it's a motion to, do I have a motion to extend it?
So moved.
Continue it? Okay, we'll move it till... One second.
Did you sign that?
Yeah, I just wanna finish. All right,
Let's get that one.
so, okay, let's see, move it to... So we'll continue it till February 14. All in favor, do I have a second to continue till February 14?
Second.
Second, all in favor to continue 46-17 till February 14, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, so until February 14. Now, petition 1-18, J. Donegan Company, 2419 and 2417 Cranberry Highway and Seth Toby Road.
Do you want to sign this with your... Ramos Realty is,
Good evening.
I have a couple of items that we submitted electronically that I'm gonna bet you don't have hard copies of. So,
Okay, just before we start, just name and address for the records.
Matt Smith, with Bowler Engineering, with me as well as Jay Donegan from Jay Donegan Company, and happy to have Sean Kelly here, Associates, our traffic engineer.
All right, very well, public hearing's still open, so let's carry on.
I'll wait till I get the phone mic.
does anybody want a small copy of what's on the easel?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
Okay. Stretch my legs
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Get the blood flowing.
You need one of those. That's
Here you go.
Thank you very much for having us back. When we were here 2 weeks ago, just by way of reminder, we are here for the variance application for a drive-through restaurant at the corner of Toby Road and Cranberry highway, as illustrated on the plan we've submitted. My view was that everyone was fairly comfortable with what was proposed and the request, but for the traffic component, and we quickly deferred the matter to bring in Sean Kelly from Vanasson Associates, who, when I look back at the file, we've been working on this intersection since 2011. I was a little bit shocked to say. So I'm glad that Sean's here tonight. He's put together a memo summarizing the impacts of the change of use from what was approved with the bank on the site to include this, this fast food use at the corner, and he's going to run through that. Mr. Buckland had also asked that we provide some findings of fact relative to the application's conformance with variance criteria, which we had discussed at the first hearing, but we provided a letter relative to that as well. So that's what I've passed to you. So I think it would make sense to have Sean run through the findings of his report and answer any other questions that there might be from a traffic perspective.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and members of the board. Again, for the record, Sean Kelly.
Use the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Be fine if you proceeded, but
Sean Kelly with the Associates. I think what I'd like to do tonight is just take a few minutes to walk you through what we've done in terms of our updated traffic analysis. And I know there were some specific concerns related to traffic that were brought up at the last meeting. I'll walk through those as well. We conducted a comprehensive traffic impact and access study for this project as part of the Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act review, the NEPA review, as well as the local permitting. When we did that, we were looking at about 46,300 square feet of space. It was an 18,500 square foot. All the balance of it was general retail space. What we've done is updated the assessment that we did about 2 years ago now to reflect the removal of 4,200 square feet of retail space that was initially contemplated as potentially a bank, and the inclusion of the Wendy's, which is 2,350 square feet. The study that we conducted, we did basically utilizing the same methodology we had in the prior reports that had been reviewed and approved both, again, for the NEPA, DOT, and local approval process. In terms of the intersections that we looked at, on Route 28, we looked at the Wareham crossing signal, the Toby Road signal, unsignalized the intersection of Main and Toby Road, and then the two driveways that would serve the project, one on Toby Road and then one on Route 28, which would be right in, right out. So really the key difference is the trip generation. The Wendy's, in terms of the peak hour and daily generation, does generate more traffic than the prior development. And just to walk you through what was out there before, this is the initial project in terms of trip generation. So there were really two components. You had your supermarket trips, you had your retail trips, and then you net out what's known as your pass-by trips. And just to refresh everyone's memory, a pass-by trip is someone that's traveling into the site and leaving the site, but they're not new to the area. So it's a car that's either already on Route 28 or already on Toby Road. And when you net that out, the old project was projected to generate, and what we really drilled down on is at these peak hours, 208 cars during the evening peak and 248 cars during the Saturday midday peak. Evening, about 103, 105 in and out, and then the Saturday midday, 129 and 119 in and out. So those are the numbers. We've gone through the same exercise now where we've generated for slightly less retail, because again, we're pulling up to 4,200, and then putting in the traffic associated with the Wendy's. Now the Wendy's, key things to keep in mind here are that fast food restaurants, typically half of their traffic is pass by. So half of the cars that are going in and out are already on the corridors adjacent to the site, that again being Route 28 and Toby Road. Furthermore, when you have a Wendy's such as this that's internal to a shopping center, what you have is they'll get trips that are internal. Someone's going to Aldi's, they may get food before they shop or after, or the other use is inside the site. When you net all of that traffic out, this is what we're looking at in terms of an increase of new trips, cars that are not there in the area, they would be coming to this section of Wareham. Again, this is the old project, 208 and 248 that I just showed you. This is the new project with Wendy's, new trips, 232, 297. So the total increase in traffic, new cars versus what's already been approved at the state and local level, is 24 trips in the evening, 14 in and 10 out, and 49 trips on a Saturday midday, 25 into 24 routes. So on your weekday evening, you're talking about a new trip every other minute. On a Saturday midday, you're talking about a little bit less than a trip every minute. Now, it's important to note that all of these trips aren't coming and going to the same location. The distribution patterns we utilized are again similar to what we had looked at before. The bulk of the traffic comes on Route 28, about 80% of it, 20% from Main Street, Toby Road area to the south. So when you look at the actual increases on any given segment of road versus what you've already approved, the increases are anywhere from about 10 to 15 cars per hour. So it's a car every 4 to 6 minutes. It's a very low increase compared to what's already out there. We've looked at the impacts to levels of service and delays, and we've compared them to what was previously approved, and there really is no notable impact. All of the intersections signalized work at acceptable overall levels of service. The driveways operate with acceptable levels of delay, so there really was no notable impact or change versus what's been approved in the past. A couple of the comments I understand that were raised, and I'll walk through each of them as I understand them. The first is the geometry. In terms of the four-way intersection on Toby Road that would service this project and also Walmart. I don't know how many people were on the board when we did this project 5 years ago for the Walmart, and we were the traffic engineers there, but it might make sense just to give a 30-second history of things. When Walmart got involved and developed this parcel here, and also approval for the out parcels, this intersection, Toby Road and Tow Road, was in pretty poor shape. Alignment-wise, geometrically, the Toby Road intersection was coming in much further to the, I guess we'll call it the north, or to the right on this plan. It was offset from Tow Road, so it wasn't a traditional four-way intersection. It was a very skewed intersection. To make movements off Tow to Toby, you had to do a movement such as this, and similarly the other way, which created some inefficiencies in the traffic signal. The geometry was also substandard. If you recall from driving through there, the island placement was awkward, and what it resulted in was a very high crash rate. This intersection was well above the state's average for intersections. Walmart came in with a plan to do some improvements here, to add a right turn lane southbound, to widen Toby Road and provide additional storage, and to upgrade the traffic light and how it operated. And that improvement was enough to accommodate the Walmart traffic. What happened was the Beatons, the cranberry growing operation, they reached out and said, we think more can be done here. And we think that this intersection should be corrected to the point where you have the alignment directly across with the turning lanes. The geometry is what you typically see. And they worked with Walmart and said, we'll give you the land on this corner necessary to make these improvements that will bring the intersection to the safest and most efficient traffic operations that you can. In turn, we want you to design the access in such a way that we don't have to go back to the state and we don't have to do more improvements on Toby Road when we want to develop this parcel for Wareham Marketplace. These improvements were not designed in a vacuum. We basically had 4 traffic engineers looking at this. Our firm, BAI, represented Walmart when we were doing the work for the Walmart. The Beatons hired their own traffic engineer, Jacobs, and they had brought Emery, who's a well-respected engineer in the field, doing their review. The town had their consultant, WSP engineers out of New York, who was doing the review for the town. And then on top of that, Mass DOT also reviewed the plans to ensure that the proposed access and improvements met their guidelines. So this wasn't just Walmart. This was 4 separate engineers, one for the town, one for the state, one for the Beatons, and one for Walmart, all looking at this. And the ultimate plan is what's out there today, which was create a new 4-way intersection that would serve Walmart in this parcel, which at the time was the Beatons, provide the exclusive left turn lanes on Toby Road so that cars turning into either parcel don't block through traffic and gum up traffic operations at the intersection. Provide the adequate queue length in terms of storage moving back, and provide the appropriate geometry so this all lined up. So this plan, again, has been reviewed at the state level, and actually it was reviewed when we filed for our permit for this project. So the state's actually reviewed this twice and signed off on it twice now. So we had 4 sets of eyes, the state looking at it twice, and this is the ultimate plan that everyone believed and still believes is appropriate. In terms of, I know there's been some concern about the left turn lanes, how those line up. When you do an intersection improvement such as this, and you have turn lanes on the main line, which in this case is Toby Road, those lanes should line up. That is, the left turn lane, opposing left turn lane, should be in the same plane, if you will. And the reason for that is alignment. We need to make sure the through traffic coming up on the right-hand side of it in either direction maintains a straight path and doesn't have a jog in it. So this is not atypical. This is what you would see at any intersection that we've designed in such a way. So that really, I think, speaks to the geometry and how we got to where it is. I know there was a question about seasonal variation and the fact that, we looked at average month conditions. First off, when we did our counts, we actually were looking at above average month conditions. So what we did is conservative to begin with. The state criteria for a traffic study is average month. It's not peak month. You don't look at your Christmas peak. You don't look at the summer peak. But I would point out that when the Walmart went through the process, the town consultant, again, out of New York WSP, actually asked us to do a summer analysis. And what the summer analysis showed was that the volumes generally, weekday evening were about 10% higher, Saturday midday, again, a little higher, but there was one movement that was significantly higher, and it was on your Saturday, and it was that southbound through movement, 28 south, which makes sense because people are going to the Cape, you have recreational traffic. So what happened was when we designed this, this second through lane wasn't needed during average peak conditions. Every month out of the year, between September and May, you could have lived with one southbound lane. But given the fact that there was a Saturday analysis, the summer analysis done, it was understood that in the summer this is a heavier movement. Walmart widened this out more and created the 2 through lanes. And again, designed this in such a way to provide ample capacities that when this got developed in the future, there was going to do more work here. So while a summer analysis isn't required by the state, it's not in their guidelines, I think it's just worth pointing out that this was designed in such a way to accommodate that heavier summer flow southbound going towards the Cape on the weekends. In terms of Christmas analyses, again, it's not something that's required by the state. You typically would only see a Christmas analysis if you were doing something like a mall or a very large, hundreds of thousands of square foot shopping center. For a project of this size, 46,000 square feet, in nearly 20 years of doing this, I've never seen a Christmas analysis done for a project of this size. I'd also point out that when you look at the tenants in this plaza, you have an Aldi, you have what proposed Wendy's, you have an AutoZone. These aren't uses that peak at Christmas. I can't think of the time I bought someone brake pads for Christmas or a double burger or Aldi. So while you may see more higher volumes in the area because of traffic, they're not going to be coming here to do Christmas shopping because the tenant mix just simply isn't that type of mix where you're going to see those holiday spikes. There was a question about signalization and whether or not this intersection needs to have a traffic signal. This is something we took a close look at with the state when we were going through the process with Walmart. Initially, we proposed a traffic light there. The state said no, it's not justified. We went through and looked at all the volumes that have recently been collected, looked at all the warrants. Basically, you can't just put a traffic light up. It has to meet a signal warrant as established in federal guidelines, and there are really 3. Your 8-hour volume, we look at the heaviest 8 hours of the day, we don't meet that warrant. Then you have a 4-hour warrant, we look at the heaviest 4 hours a day, and we don't meet that warrant. And then there's also a peak hour warrant, we just look at the busiest 1 hour of the day, and again, we don't meet that warrant either. And the reason is that to put a traffic light in, you really need to have a heavy flow on the main line, on the actual street you're pulling into. And Toby Road just isn't even in the ballpark to meet a traffic warrant. The volumes on this road are on the order of a car, 3 to 4 cars a minute in either direction. You typically want to have up in the order of 1,000 cars in the main line to get a traffic lighting combined, and again, we're not even in that ballpark. In terms of the operations, again, we've looked at this in terms of the impact, the Walmart traffic coming out, and when fully operational, the increases and delays on this movement are on the order of about 4 seconds a vehicle or less. So it's not a huge impact in terms of Walmart customers leaving. And I think I would also note that I was out there looking at how traffic flows today from this site. And I think when we did this project, what we assumed was that as this development happened and this development Walmart built out, that people that are heading south on 28 were more likely to come out the main driveway onto 28, make the right turn to avoid the signal and yield control, and then again you have the 2 through lanes to take you towards the interchange. What's happening today is because of the fact that this site is predominantly undeveloped and there really isn't any volume here, any friction, people that are in this parking field are making this maneuver because it's shorter and it's easier. What I think will ultimately happen is that as the project gets built and as you do have those busier times and this traffic and this traffic are both, I don't use the word competing, but they're both utilizing the same gaps. Some of the traffic that today does this we'll probably find it's more convenient to make this maneuver and simply go through with the light, there's more capacity for 2 lanes. So even if these volumes stay exactly as they are today, it works, but I sense that as this gets more developed, some of these customers today that make this move are gonna likely come out the Route 28 driveway and avoid that signal from this approach entirely. And that's really what we've done in a nutshell. Again, we've looked at it closely, compared to what you've approved before. This project really isn't a whole lot of new traffic, a car every other minute, a car every minute. When we look at the impacts again, what was built, contemplating this development, can handle those increases with no impacts to the surrounding roadway system. That's all I have for tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions that members of the board may have.
All right, I did go through this quick. I'm not very good with traffic studies, but I did go through it quick. What you're saying about the traffic, you're absolutely right. I don't think it makes such impact on 28 or on Toby Road. However, for me personally, to grant this variance, it's a little hard for me for few reasons. You all know, it's not a secret, this board is a yes board, and we have granted variances to many people when we think it's fit. Variance, as you all know, in most cases, if it goes to appeal, it's gonna be shut, it will never pass. In very few cases will passes. But there's a reason, I guess, the state made this powerful tool for boards across the state of Massachusetts to use it because they know some laws are harsh or not fair to for some locations. Use variance is tough, although I personally don't mind the use variance. Well, I see it fit. Just perfect example, let's say these 2 houses behind you, say they're still residential. I know now they voted to be commercial. I think it's feasible to give those houses variance to be commercial, is a use variance. Again, it's my personal opinion, but for me personally to agree on a variance for a drive-through there, now what we do with everyone who comes in West Wareham wants a drive-through, or anywhere in Wareham, it's not allowed use. Same like gas stations in Wareham, they're not allowed. Say we give one person a gas station, then everybody says why, and they'll come with a traffic study. And believe me, I believe 28 will take way more traffic than this. It used to handle the whole Cape Cod traffic back in the day. That's not the problem. But I believe you don't have that hardship like you say in here for leasing the property, because you have a great location, great visibility. And the drive-through, you're saying, will not nullify in the purpose of the town's bylaw, which it does, because it's not allowed in our bylaw. And however, like I said, variances could be granted when I think it's not fair or harsh. When I think it's granted, when it's fair and harsh, I think it should be granted. But you have a beautiful location, great visibility, and like you know, when you guys came before us, we get you approved quick, get you going. If you're aware, the gentleman there knows about Walmart. Walmart took 7 years, which I totally disagree with previous boards who let it drag 7 years, which cost the town over $2 million in taxes and meal taxes and all of this. So we'd like to get things going fast, but to a certain extent, we have to respect the voters of the town. My recommendation, I want to pass it to everyone on the board. My recommendation, April around the corner, it is going on the warrant. See what happens. But personally, I can't give you my vote for it. Consciously, I can't do it because I know a lot of people in West Wareham, with all due respect, they say, oh, we don't want it to be East Wareham. Well, East Wareham is not second-class people. So whoever listening, I'd like the East Wareham people and everywhere else, with all respect, Charlie, for West Wareham people, so to go to town meeting this time and vote your opinion, and go vote if you want it, if you think it should be there or shouldn't, and let the voter decide. But I know we represent the whole town and we have to respect this. A lot of times, a lot of people complains, yes and no, but again, we do represent almost 22,000 people, and there's a lot of people against it, so I would personally like to hear the voters for that. I want to pass it to board members, see how they feel about it. Wilma?
Well, first of all, it is a drive, they want to drive through there, but the other, I don't like the way the, in and out is situated, or going out onto Toby Road. There's gonna be enough traffic coming in that I feel that if they decide to vote for there, I think it should be leaving to the left and going out onto Cranberry Highway through there. That's my outlook on that.
All right, just for the record, I forget to mention, town planner Ken Buckland came in at 7 PM. Jim?
Unlike our chair and Wilma, I don't see anything wrong with this plan. I don't see it being a drive-through that's emptying onto a public way. It's emptying into a,
I absolutely agree. I am for drive-through, don't get me wrong.
So-
I am for drive-through, and I think it's a great project, and I think it's very good location. And I know before I said it should discharge to 28, I was wrong. I thought about it, I think about it. The way you did it, it's perfect. However, I'm talking about the use, about granting this variance. This is my problem. But
I don't see it setting a precedent that allows, when you have somebody have this type of a design and they're emptying in and out of their own property into their own controlled traffic pattern before it's released onto public ways. I just don't have a problem with it at all. If I had to vote tonight, I'd vote in favor of it. That's my take on it. I think it's good. I think that, you mentioned 22,000 people, and of the 22,000 people that are supposedly so concerned about it, 0 showed up in opposition. So it's not like the people are up in arms. If the people were up in arms, they'd be here. They wouldn't be able to fit in the room. And the room is empty. So that's my take on it. I'll say no more.
I do understand what you're saying. However, like I said, that powerful tool that we have, a variance, we just can't take it for granted and use it. It's a great project, don't get me wrong. I am all for drive-throughs, but I can't just use that tool because we think so, although I would love to, but I can't personally, I can't use it. Jake?
I think it's a great project, but I do agree with you, Nazi. I'd like to see what the town says first before we make a decision.
Jen?
Yeah, if it weren't for the variance requirements, I like it. I'm all in favor of it. I think it's well thought out. It doesn't flow out into the street. It's well thought out traffic study. I would like to vote for it. But with the requirements, in particular with use variances, which requires that the property cannot realize a reasonable return under any of the uses permitted in the zoning district, is so high that I just can't, unless I hear something else, I can't justify that. I would basically be, I would have to ignore the requirements, I think, unless I hear something else.
Carl?
I'm for the project. I'm totally against West Wareham, thinking that they don't want to be East Wareham.
Well, I totally agree with you.
My thing here is, maybe West Wareham should pay more taxes.
Well,
If they think that they're better, pay more taxes.
I do agree, but unfortunately, it's not the case, and it's always the case. They say they don't want it like East Wareham, and they don't want it like Swiss Beach or Onset, but Swiss Beach, Onset, East Wareham is not, it's Wareham, and it's the same as Wareham. So if they want to pick up the difference in the taxes, like Carl said, that'll be great, but unfortunately, we don't make these decisions. So again, hopefully more voters will go to town meeting and voice their opinion on that.
I mean, it's, you know, it's, the thing that strikes me though, is that it is, I understand it's been some challenge getting, tenants in. And so what I really hate right now is that, you know, it's a piece of property someone is trying to invest in and develop. You have this corner piece where, you know, no work has been done. We're trying to get a tenant. The house is still sitting there. You know, you worry about the character of it. I would certainly prefer to see it, go ahead and see a development move through and there be construction, have something built. This is the tenant they've been searching for tenants, searching for businesses who are interested in this particular type of shopping center in this area. This is what they've been able to come up with. So, and I certainly take that to be true. And so, you know, at the end of the day, when you're looking at seeing a nicely, fully developed piece of property, as opposed to something that cannot yet be developed, but turning it away because it's a drive-through, it does seem quite ludicrous to me.
Right. Again, it is a new project. I built projects. I have commercial plazas similar to this. It's new. I mean, you built it quick. Good luck for you. And you did a great job. Everything's coming out beautiful. My recommendation, like I said, April around the corner, let's wait, see what the voters come back with, and maybe you're good to go, because I think it's beautiful, the setup. Everybody tell me they love Wendy's there. I like Wendy's. I like to go there. I love the property and everything. But then again, I can't just abuse that variance tool too much. I mean, where it's fair to be used, I would like to use it, and we always do. We do grant a lot of variances. And like I said, let's say there was a residential property there and you want to put a business, I'll be all for it. I'll give you this variance. But I think that's, for right now, it's too much to ask. So I personally recommend, if you want to table it for June, do you want to withdraw without prejudice, come back again, just leave it open, you give us a letter, let's see what happened. By the time you still work, I mean, just only 3 months.
Not June, why did you say June?
Come back in June, I'm sorry, come back in May, sorry, why did I say June?
After
Town meeting, I'm sorry, I said June. So, do you wanna hear some comments from town engineer?
Sure.
Do you wanna hear that? Do you wanna say anything, Charlie?
I sympathize with their intent. And going from West Wareham, I'm not necessarily opposed to driving. Remember that report where that information came from is now about 10 years old. So maybe people's attitudes have changed a little bit. But I don't really think that is the case when you're speaking as one who's looking at this from the standpoint of the variance request and nothing more. There are 4 criteria with respect to a variance request that have to be met and have to be overcome in order for a variance to be granted. The first thing that I bump into is the fact that the town, in its wisdom, whether it was appropriate or not, voted no driving facilities throughout the town. It did not pick on West Wareham or East Wareham or South Wareham or wherever. It said no more drive-in restaurants. That having been said, I looked at the information that the applicant had presented in terms of the traffic study and the summary of the variance criteria. And in my view, some of the comments that they made are contrary, or they're opposing each other. We heard a good presentation on the fact that the intersection of Toby Road and 28 have been designed professionally. They've taken into consideration traffic counts and traffic movements and so forth, and the intersection into this site has been addressed. So if the traffic situation has been adjudicated to the satisfaction of the board and the state traffic engineers, then that, in my view, is not necessarily an issue. However, in the summary for the variances especially, shape of the lot. They use the intersection as a basis for saying that the variance is, or should be granted. You can't have it both ways, and it would seem to me that if the variance is required because of the location of this parcel, the location of what they want to do at the intersection, and if the intersection is shaped in such a way that it requires a variance for this particular use, then it would require a variance for any use that's on this site, which was not required. If they use the corner of the property for a use which is allowed in the zoning bylaw, a variance would not be required. So in my view, it has nothing to do with the intersection, because they've addressed that issue. So the question is, what is there about the soil conditions, topography, or the shape of the property in general that makes it so unique that you don't find it across the street, or you don't find it down the other side of 195? And in my view, I don't see that that argument has been made to the degree that you could grant a variance for this property. It talks about that it really isn't detrimental to the public good, but to grant the variance when the town in its wisdom and throughout the town has said, we want no more driving, simply is not true. The town has said no. So it's not, if it is taking away from the intent of the bylaw, which it really is, because the town said, we don't want them.
We don't want them in West Wareham.
No, we don't want them anywhere. That's what the town said.
We,
wouldn't have the same.
we're not gonna argue this.
We wouldn't have the same argument if it was.
It's not an argument whether we agree or it's good or bad.
All right,
What I'm saying is that it's in the bylaw. So all I'm saying is that
That's right.
the documentation that has been presented, in my view, does not meet the statutory requirements for granting variance. Whether I agree with the idea of a drive-through restaurant or not is immaterial.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter to the decision that the board has to make. And that's simply my view as an engineer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an expert on zoning law or anything like that. I think I can read, and from my experience, this is what I see.
Well, again, thanks for the clarification of this, but I don't think it's detriment to the public good. However, there's few, like you said, it has to meet the 5 criteria, which it doesn't. But it goes beyond this. For me, it goes beyond these. I mean, I have no problem with use variance, with variances, but I just cannot pass until I hear from town voter. Let's see what the voter says, and we go from there. So, what's your wishes?
Nazir?
Yes.
According to the chart for commercial use, and it says restaurants drive-through, and it shows none all the way across.
Right. Yeah, we know this, that's
Yeah,
what they...
that's the way it was voted.
Exactly, that's why we wanna wait for town meeting, see what happens.
It's going, according to the planning board, they were going to try to put it before the town meeting again.
Yeah, well, it is on the ballot. I mean, it's on the warrant for the meeting.
That's what I was just asking.
So, would you wish to write us a letter to continue? What do you wanna do? Leave it open?
I think we'll continue. I mean, look, you've been reasonable always. We can get into the merits of the hardship, if you will. That's not gonna carry the day here, I understand that.
It's a beautiful project. I have no problem with the traffic. 28 would handle so much more traffic. It's not detrimental to the neighborhood. It just, the only problem for me, I'm hanging my hat on, it does nullify the purpose of the town's bylaw. It does do that. And to be honest with you, like I said, we do represent these people, and these people trust us with the decisions we do in town of Wareham. And I know it's gonna get appealed if we say yes, and it's gonna cost the town so much money, and knock on wood, so far we didn't cost the town. This board since we've been on it, we haven't cost the town any money, so we'd like to keep it this way. So, I'd like to keep it
I
this
asked
way.
Matt the question, which might be naive, but, you know, what's your expectation of the town meeting and whatever that outcome may be, how will that influence?
I believe town meeting, I think they're gonna reverse it and they're gonna allow it, because a
You won't
lot,
need a variance anymore.
you won't need a variance, you just come, simple special permit.
So I think all of our issue is specifically, mine is exactly what Charlie said. It's literally not being able to fit this into the requirements needed for a variance. So if you don't need a variance, I like the project.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it looks like that, I've heard a lot of people in town, they wanted to bring it back. And you see here, he likes it, I like it, I just can't do it. He likes it, she likes it, everybody like it. And I believe this is our bread and butter, the highway is our bread and butter. We should try to recruit as many businesses as we can. And I hope everybody's listening. I mean, if everybody look at the tax bill, in the last 3 years it went, or 5 years, it's almost doubled our house tax bills. We don't have enough commercials. So we hope to make more commercial business and industrial. So, and like I said, just perfect example of these houses, warehouses, and they want a commercial, I have no problem giving commercial, not a drive-through, but.
It's just a shame because, you
I
know,
know.
before Wareham Crossing, before Walmart, before any of this, when you drove down, when you left Wareham and headed towards West Wareham and crossed over 195, you took your life in your hands. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And these developments, what, am I wrong? People,
called it the frontier that you were heading into.
well, no, when I say you took your life in your hand, there were no traffic controls.
West Wareham people
When
don't
you went
believe
down
that.
28 and the people coming off 95, it was like Dodge cars. There was no traffic lights. And these developments have put this stuff in. These are, you know, these are friends of Wareham that have come and improved our town, and they continue to try to improve our town, and, you know.
Yeah, not to mention the thousands of people they
It's
employ.
a lot safer driving that section of highway today with the business than it was before the businesses existed, in my unhumble opinion.
Yeah, and adding taxes and all that, so. Anyway, so what's your wishes? When is town?
2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead. Ken, when is town meeting?
Town meeting is April 23rd.
April 23rd, okay. We'll just take 2-minute recess.
And I think Charlie made a good point, that there's a study in front of us that's, I read some of that, and people were talking about their opposition to Wareham Crossing being built, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember when some folks came in from Great Hill and were terribly opposed to Walmart being built. And now you go in the door and they hand you a little yellow sticker with a smiley face on it.
It's the truth. They're all working.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Stop. Seriously?
Seriously. So, you know, I mean, it's very popular to be opposed to change. People, I mean, I'm not trying to influence anybody's decision here. I'm just
I know.
speaking in generalities. I'm just saying.
A lot of people don't know numbers, I
They
guess,
change
too.
your mind.
They don't know
Huh?
that,
No, I wouldn't change them. I know.
I said nobody changes your mind either.
No, that's correct. My mind is changeable. It's open.
Oh, no, not when it comes to development of business. But that's beside the point.
Well, you know, the options they have for a drive-through, they could have a bank there. They could
Let's still take
they could have a
because of-
pharmacy.
That requires.
With a drive-through, it could be the same footprint.
can we not discuss this? Let's not discuss this.
Wouldn't that require use variance as well?
No,
Can we not just recess,
yep,
please?
yep,
No
yes, sir.
discussion.
When they
He's
first
saying
came with
let's
this
not discuss it
plan,
'cause we're in recess.
we said we didn't want a drive-through bank.
No discussion, Wilma.
And they
Just take a
took it
break.
Off the
We're in
plan.
recess?
Maybe you people don't remember that.
All right.
So in recess, I used to like to climb the jungle gym. What is it that you used to like to
Have a
do?
drink of vodka or something.
When you're 8 years old, right?
And you're, yeah.
Go down east, live in
Smoke a
East
cigarette,
Windsor
roll a tape.
now.
Recess always seemed to be too short, and classes always seemed to be too long, that I
Are
remember.
we in commercial strip?
I could sit there and look out the window and just know how long it was till the next one.
West Wareham School playground always used to get puddles in it,
It's not allowed.
so those kids would go out there and build dams around the puddles. Build a little channel to a little lower spot and break the place in the dam, watch the water flow.
This is how you got to be an engineer, huh?
You gotta use the microphone, Charlie, when you're talking.
He wants you to use the
Microphone.
microphone, he wants to add
I
that.
thought we were on recess.
All right, recess over. Yes,
Okay, we're
sir.
back, go ahead.
You don't wanna miss
thank you
out
very
on
much.
anything, that's all.
Wilma, Peter, yes.
Our sense is we'd like to continue it, but looking for a little bit of guidance. If that's going to be some awkward situation or something on your side, and you think we should withdraw, we could withdraw. But our sense is just let's
I
continue.
don't think you should withdraw. I think you should keep it.
Okay. Then
And let's see, April 23rd is town meeting, I will put you on May 9. You don't have to pay a fee again, nothing, just come back, just write a small letter, give it to Ken, and we'll see how it goes.
Then we'd ask that that's what happened.
Very well. Can I have a motion to continue 118 for J. Donegan Company till May 9th, 2018?
So moved.
So moved by Jen,
Seconded.
second by Jim. All in favor to continue, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. So we'll see you then. I guess we'll see you next time.
Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else? Somebody want to discuss anything else? No? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, oppose, abstain. Thank you. Thanks, Bob.